Let's talk Tanya for the 27th of Adar. In the last few days, we're talking about the power of the mitzvah to create a dira b'tachtonim, to create a home for God over here in this world, and thereby bring the world to its intended state, the state which God desired before He created the world, which is why He created the world. All 613 mitzvahs contribute to this, as we discussed, that when we do all the mitzvahs, we elevate our entire animal soul, and through our animal soul, we elevate the entire world. However, we find something interesting. There is one mitzvah, and that is specifically the mitzvah of tzedakah, the mitzvah of charity, which our sages tell us that is shkula keneged kol ha-mitzvahs, that charity is the equivalent of all the other mitzvahs combined. If you had a scale and you put charity on one side and all the other mitzvahs on the other side, so they would have equal weight. Now, that definitely sounds very progressive and very politically correct, and it's unbelievable to say, yeah, all those mitzvahs that you do, the lighting the Shabbos candles and the tefillin and the Shabbos, that's all amazing, but tzedakah, charity, is the equivalent of them all. But we have to understand what that means. By now we understand that a mitzvah is an instrument and a tool through which we create dira b'tachtonim. We build this home for God over here in this world. And every mitzvah does that. In which way is tzedakah quantitatively or qualitatively greater than all the other mitzvahs, to the point that it's actually the equivalent of all the other mitzvahs put together? So the Alter Rebbe explains in today's Tanya that every mitzvah, although it elevates the world and it makes holy a certain part of the world, every mitzvah has two limitations. Number one, a mitzvah is limited in time. In other words, you're elevating the energy that you're using in doing the mitzvah while you are doing the mitzvah. It doesn't elevate the energy of the hours beforehand or the hours afterwards. And also, every time that you do a mitzvah, you're using a specific limb of the body, and when the energy within that limb is being elevated, but you're not elevating the entirety of your animal soul. Charity, tzedakah, is different, because when you give $1 to charity, when you put a coin into the pushka, what does that dollar represent? That dollar represents your work. That paycheck that you have represents all the work that you put into it. You're not just elevating the dollar. You're elevating the 40 hours you spent in the office last week. And as we all know, when we work, we put every part of our being into our work. And then when we take 10% of that, we take a certain amount and we give it to charity, we're not just elevating the moment of the charity, we're also not only elevating a specific limb, we're elevating that entire 40 hours and the entirety of our being that went into it. The power of charity is incredible. Every time that we give some charity, the amount of klipa that we are elevating and transforming to holiness, there is no other mitzvah that holds a candle to it. That's why our sages tell us, Gedolah tzedakah shemikareves es hageulah. Greatest tzedakah, for it hastens the redemption. Every mitzvah hastens the redemption. Every mitzvah is another building block in dira b'tachtonim, in the home for God. But there is no other mitzvah that is as potent and as powerful as tzedakah in terms of the amount of klipa that is elevated and transformed when doing a mitzvah. Interestingly, if there's one mitzvah that we can say that the Rebbe was so into and the Rebbe so encouraged in so many different ways, it was the mitzvah of tzedakah. From standing every Sunday giving out dollars to everyone to give to tzedakah, constantly giving out coins to everyone to give to tzedakah. The Rebbe encouraging people to have tzedakah pushkas, tzedakah boxes in their homes, in their offices. And obviously, this goes hand in hand with the Rebbe's yearning and desire to bring Mashiach as soon as possible, and understanding this concept of the Tanya over here, just how powerful tzedakah is in terms of hastening the redemption. Tomorrow we will find out that just like today we discussed that there is an elite mitzvah, tzedakah, charity, there's another elite mitzvah. And tomorrow we will find out what that elite mitzvah is and why it enjoys that status. For that, join us tomorrow and let's talk Tanya.